Week 1 ranking series continues. We're going to rank the top 24 tight ends for Week 1. Starting in the S tier, we're going to have... You guessed it. Jelani Woods. Jelani Woods on the Colts. Just kidding. I always do that.
Wow, you're so funny.
I know. Travis Kelce is in tier 1, and he's the only tight end that's deserving of going in tier 1, and so he's going to be here by himself. He's playing the Detroit Lions, but does it really matter who Travis Kelce plays Week 1?
Nope. Never does.
Does it matter to you?
No, not really.
Next tier.
All right. Top of the A tier, Mark Andrews playing the Houston Texans. Again, an offense or a defense that is definitely on the rise with a very good defensive-minded head coach in DeMeco Ryans. But Week 1, that probably isn't going to show from a fantasy perspective. Mark Andrews is going to ball out in Lamar Jackson's first game back in a while, fully healthy. We're really excited to see
a new offense.
A new offense where there's actually going to be some multiple fantasy relevant assets. Andrews will still be at the top of that list.
Yes.
TJ Hawkinson playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Ooh.
I mean, come on.
I would take Hawk over Andrews here, I think.
You could honestly make an argument to take Hawk over Andrews. I think this is 50-50, honestly. And with Hawkinson, the only difference is you've got Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison playing alongside him. I would argue personally that they all help each other, and especially with Hawkinson, like I still think he'll be a great threat and have great upside, especially playing the Tampa Bay defense. George Kittle, Pittsburgh. Look, Pittsburgh's got a great defense, and they've got some solid pass pro. But George Kittle being probably not the focal point in that offense from a passing game perspective, meaning that he'll probably get a solid matchup, and he catches the ball regardless. I mean, he's just a highlight reel every single week. You're just waiting for another highlight catch from George Kittle, and those highlights come with elite level fantasy points. I mean, he's not A tier from a fantasy points perspective. From a ceiling points perspective, he's like Kelce level.
Ceiling, he's S tier.
But yeah, you still got to take into account the fact that he is playing alongside Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk. There is risk for,
Christian
a bust
McCaffrey.
week.
Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
That's kind of a weird matchup Week 1. Pittsburgh and San Francisco.
It is.
That's odd. I keep reading it and I'm like, huh.
I know.
That'll be interesting. That'll be a good game, though.
It will.
Two good teams.
I mean,
Very good.
a lot of the other matchups make sense.
Yes, they do.
Next, we have the B tier. We're going here at the top, Evan Ingram. And honestly,
He could be the
I don't
S
know,
tier.
but I thought about putting Evan Ingram into the A tier.
We should
even
move him
S.
up. We should move him up. I'm with you on that.
Okay.
You
Let's
agree?
do it. Oh, yeah.
I mean, tight ends always just slaughter
They
Gus Bradley
destroy.
defenses. Like every time,
Well, let's
dude.
pull up Evan Ingram
Eberflus
against
defenses.
the Colts in 2022. He scored 11 points with 8 targets in week 2. So that was before he took off last
Yes.
year, like everyone remembers.
It's only good early game.
And then the next time he played Indy, he had 6 targets, 5 catches, 9 points. So not great, really. Not as great as I expected. But the Colts
defense is gonna be worse
has
this year.
It's
not
gonna be-
gotten any better, we'll tell you that.
The secondary is awful.
And then, Evan Ingram, obviously they signed him to a big contract this year. They intend to keep using him like he was used at the end of last year. I mean, look at the end of the year. He had 7 targets, 15 targets, 10 targets, 8 targets. I mean, he really became a target hog in that Jacksonville Jaguars offense. We'll see what happens with Calvin Ridley, but we trust Trevor Lawrence, and we do not trust the Colts defense. So Evan Ingram, back of the A tier, I guess.
Trust us, the Colts suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So should Nathan go back and talk about Evan Ingram now? Because he's in the
Yeah,
A
so
tier?
Evan Ingram is going to be at the tail end of this A tier.
Okay, then starting off the B tier, we have Kyle Pitts playing against Carolina. We all know who Kyle Pitts is as an athlete, as a player.
I don't know who he is.
Yeah, Avery's stupid. That's why he's not on this YouTube channel anymore. But Pitts absolutely has this upside. We'll see. He was disappointing last year, but this is where his ADP is. It's the beginning of the year. There's a lot that's going to happen. There's a lot of crazy things that are going to go. So this is where you kind of roll with the betting lines. You kind of roll with the season-wide ADP, and this is right where Kyle Pitts was being drafted. And if you drafted him as the tight end 5, tight end 6, you better be starting him there. So that's where we're going to rank him. Behind him, we have Darren Waller. Same sort of thing with Waller. He's playing, honestly, maybe the best weapon in the New York Giants offense, and we're going to account for that. He's going against the Dallas Cowboys, and Daniel Jones could be throwing to Darren Waller a lot, especially week 1. We could see him peppered with targets. And behind him, we have Dallas Goedert. Going against New England, it's a hard matchup. It always is. But when you have as many weapons as you do in Philadelphia, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, they're all going to do something. And any given week, one of them can catch 2 touchdowns and have a great week. So Dallas Goedert has the ceiling. He deserves to be here, and he gets the targets.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving down to the C tier, we're going to start with David Njoku. David Njoku's playing the Cincinnati Bengals in week 1, so obviously playing a decent defense. The main question that we have with David Njoku going into this year is how's he going to gel with Deshaun Watson? We saw him do very well last year when Jacoby Brissett was playing quarterback. And so will Deshaun Watson favor Amari Cooper more, or even maybe Elijah Moore now who's in that offense? So it will be interesting to see if David Njoku can kind of continue the production he was able to find last year in that offense. Pat Freiermuth close behind. Pat Freiermuth obviously playing the San Francisco 49ers. And Pat Freiermuth, it's hard to rank him, but every week you can pretty much just rank him in the middle. His ceiling is going to be slightly capped, at least for now, with the play of Kenny Pickett and the weapons that are also next to him in George Pickens and Deontay Johnson, not to mention Najee Harris, who we expect to get some passing game work this year as well. And so with Pat Freiermuth, we're kind of tempering our expectations.
Jeez, man.
After you said it, dang, I started saying it like that. Now I just
I'm just going to say it like that from now on.
I literally don't want to talk anymore. All right. Cole Kmet playing Green Bay. We're going to temper our expectations with Cole Kmet because we need to temper them. Look, with Cole Kmet, he's playing with Justin Fields as a quarterback. I don't know how you can rank him any higher than this.
Joe Barry defense, though.
But he's playing a Joe Barry defense. So, again, with Cole Kmet, in all seriousness, like new offense, DJ Moore, we've got questions. We'll see. Greg Dulcich wasn't even getting first-team reps in some of the preseason games. Adam Troutman was. Did you realize that?
I didn't know
preseason.
That's freaking hilarious. No, but I mean, it still matters who runs with the ones. Like that's usually like the only thing you can look at and say, oh, that's interesting.
Fair enough.
It will be interesting to see if Greg Dulcich is the starter. I would assume we are obviously clearly predicting he will be the starter there. And if he is, again, this is more or less who's going to take over in that Denver offense from a weapon standpoint? And I think it could be Greg Dulcich. Yeah. And we were very high on Greg Dulcich as a prospect. But again, we have to kind of be careful because we need to see how this offense sorts out.
Got to push him up with the injuries, though.
I think so too. Yeah, I think that's why kind of he's been pushed up this list.
Right.
And then Dalton Schultz. And honestly,
Mr. Shirts.
Honestly, like I'm more comfortable starting Dalton Schultz than a couple guys in this tier. Yeah. So move him anywhere you want. I mean, Dalton Schultz is going to be playing with a rookie quarterback. We've seen the splits with rookie quarterbacks and tight ends over the years. Dalton Schultz also, I mean, when you watch the Houston Texans first team offense work, Dalton Schultz gets a ton of targets from CJ Stroud. Number one, CJ Stroud's a good quarterback. He's going to find the open man. Number two, Dalton Schultz is the most experienced pass catcher outside of Robert Woods on the Houston Texans. So because of that, I mean, I would expect him to produce in a big way this year from that standpoint and from the standpoint that he's actually a good tight end. And you saw what he was able to do in Dallas with Dak Prescott. It's not going to be the same because Dalton Schultz was a top 6 tight end in Dallas from a scoring standpoint. But at the same time, we do expect Dalton Schultz to have a pretty good year.
Yeah, and here's what I know for a fact about Dalton Schultz, that he looks really good in this tier graphic, and that is definitely Dalton
That's
Schultz.
Dalton Schultz right there, baby.
Yep. So in the D tier, we're going to have Gerald Everett up top. He's tied to Justin Herbert. I mean, what more can you ask for a mid-producing, mid-talented tight end? He's in an elite passing offense. So, yeah, it's a defense in Miami that is without Jalen Ramsey until December. And Xavier Howard was really bad last year, and we'll see what he does going into week 1. But Gerald Everett is going to be that probably 3rd or 4th option with Justin Herbert. He has, a decent amount of upside. Then Tyler Higbee, he's in the same offense, but even worse going into this year, and he's very easily the 2nd option for Matt Stafford. I mean, you saw Tyler Higbee last year, week 1, get 11 targets. So he could have some solid upside in the D tier as well, playing against Seattle, who is a pretty not very deep Seattle defense.
I mean, Matt Stafford only throws the white guys too.
Yeah, so. Correct. Yeah. Exactly. Tyler Conklin, he's got a pretty cool tattoo sleeve, and he's playing against Buffalo with the New York Jets, tied to Aaron Rodgers. And yes, Aaron Rodgers every once in a while will have a fluky high-end producing tight end every once in a while. Conklin, maybe, I don't know, could be that this year, but week 1 we'll see what he does. He's had some, he can have some high upside weeks, and of all the times for that to happen, this could be the one. He's still in the D tier. Yeah. Irv Smith, playing against Cleveland. Irv Smith has never done anything ever in his entire career.
Notable.
But you saw what Hayden Hurst did on Cincinnati last season, which was all right, honestly. And you're kind of hoping that Irv Smith can fill those shoes and, score some D tier level points.
Yeah, we're talking about some real stars.
High expectations right now.
Jake Ferguson replacing Dalton Schultz in Dallas, but they're bringing in Brandon Cooks, and they've got plenty of receiving options that aren't called Jake Ferguson. We don't even know for a fact who's going to be the lead tight end ultimately in fantasy there. I mean, heck, it could be Peyton Hendershot or Schoonmaker, who was a 2nd round tight end this year. So we're just calling our shot here that Ferguson will be the lead guy to start, but definitely wait and see.
The other guy, Schoonmaker's a rookie.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you see rookie tight ends come out. Let's talk about the F tier. Like, for the 4 of you that are still watching, here are the F tier tight ends. We won't do 24 every week, I swear. But
No.
here you go.
16.
Yes.
Yeah, so this F tier is kind of a bunch of crazy guys, and I want to
And some really high upside young guys here as well.
There's 2 rookies in this tier that you'll notice, but we looked at all the rookie tight ends since 2012. Only 10 of them have scored more than 6 points in their first week. So yes, guys like Mayer and Kincaid have a high ceiling, but that's why they're this low in this tier.
You skipped all the other guys.
I did skip the other guys, so we're gonna start all the way up at Gesicki. Mike Gesicki, a year removed, was a pretty good fantasy tight end in Miami. We saw him kind of phased out of that offense last year with the new, Tyreek Hill, great new weapon, right? But he's in New England now. There's not many other target competitors at all, really. So you could see Gesicki have some good upside, get some good targets there. But there's not much to see. Jelani Woods, we've seen upside with him from week to week, but
this could be Kylen Granson too.
It could be Kylen Granson. It really could
Pick
be
your
anybody.
poison.
Yes.
We're talking like tight end 20
Cox if he
here.
gets a touchdown.
Dude, you know he might be a cut candidate.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah, they can't have. Yeah,
I know.
Sorry.
But
they can't
anyways,
have 5 tight
Anthony
ends on the roster.
Richardson, first week in the NFL, he's a rookie, so he's going to be struggling to.
Yeah, he could have a really strong week as a rookie. That happens.
He's probably going to be struggling to adjust to NFL.
It could be good.
One defenses, and Jelani Woods could offer a big target across the middle for him.
Yeah.
Hayden Hurst, like we just mentioned, he was pretty good in Cincinnati last year. Well, he's playing rookie quarterback right there. Bryce Young, he could depend on his tight end, get him some good targets, maybe score a touchdown. Same thing with Dawson Knox. We expect Dalton Kincaid to be the tight end 1 in Buffalo, but Dawson Knox, he's the experienced guy there. You could see him get like 2 targets and maybe a touchdown. So that's a win if you're starting him as your tight end 22.
Yeah.
And then last, we already mentioned them. It's Michael Mayer and Dalton Kincaid. Both of them here rookies, drafted early second, late first in the NFL draft, and they both have really high upside as players, which is why they're here. There's a pretty good chance they give you nothing, but there's also a pretty good chance, if they're phased into their offense pretty quickly, and if they've already caught up with the game speed of the NFL, they could get 2 or 3 targets, maybe catch a touchdown and really surprise some people.
Yeah, they'll be moving up every single week from week 1 on.
Yeah, or they could move up a lot next week because they each get 6 or more targets in their first week because they're prominent pieces in their offense. I guess we're gonna see. Like, I don't know. Like, I can't try time trap. Dang, I tried to say time trap.
Oh my gosh!
Notice we did intentionally exclude Chigozimo Okonkwo.
Nobody's watching the end of this video. So, all right, if you are watching the end of this video, comment down below because we want to thank you sincerely. We will do top 16 tight ends from this week on out. But Simon planned 24 until we wanted to give Simon no.
It was
no. We'll do them. Make sure you like the video and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. If you like fantasy football, you want to subscribe. That's all I'm going to say. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later.